Nikola Tesla is one of the most mythologized figures in modern science, genius inventor, showman, and the man who wrestled with lightning. But between the headlines and the internet legends lies a complicated history, triumphs, failed projects, and a handful of documents that vanished into government hands. Tesla's Wardenclyffe Tower was more than a strange lattice of metal. To Tesla, it was a testbed, an attempt to transmit power and information wirelessly, tapping the Earth itself as a conductor. He envisioned a world where electricity would be available to everyone, everywhere. Investors pulled out, the tower was taken down, and many of Tesla's notes and prototypes disappeared or were scattered. After his death, federal agents cataloged and seized trunks of Tesla's papers. Some records were released, others remained unclear, and rumors swirled. Were the missing files simply misplaced, or intentionally hidden because they contained dangerous or disruptive technology? Over the decades, the line between verified history and speculative lore blurred, spawning stories of secret energy devices, death rays, and suppressed patents. So what is undeniably real? Let's begin with the bedrock of his legacy, his patents. Tesla was granted hundreds of patents that re-engineered the modern world. His polyphase alternating current system, including the revolutionary induction motor, was the technology that won the infamous War of Currents against Thomas Edison's direct current. This wasn't just a theoretical victory, it enabled the efficient, long-distance transmission of electricity that made it possible to power entire cities from distant generating stations. The Niagara Falls hydroelectric plant stands as a monumental testament to the success of his AC designs. This was tangible, world-changing innovation, all documented and verified. Then there were his spectacular experiments with high-frequency power. Tesla was a master of electrical resonance, and the legendary Tesla coil is his most famous creation. This circuit could generate breathtakingly high voltages, creating man-made lightning in his lab. In dramatic public demonstrations, he would wirelessly illuminate lamps from across a stage, proving energy could be transmitted through the air over short distances. His work in this era also laid crucial groundwork for radio. He filed his own basic radio patents years before Guglielmo Marconi, leading to a posthumous patent battle that ultimately recognized Tesla's pioneering contributions. But Tesla's mind operated on a scale far grander than what was commercially viable. This is where reality stretches into visionary ambition. He dreamed of a world wireless system, a plan for global communication and power transmission. The centerpiece was the Wardenclyffe Tower, a colossal transmitter designed to use the Earth itself as a conductor. His theory was that by pumping electrical energy into the planet at a specific frequency, one could draw power anywhere on the globe. It was an idea so audacious that his primary investor, J.P. Morgan, pulled funding when he realized he couldn't figure out how to bill for it. And from this grand, failed ambition, the myths spiral into pure speculation. While Wardenclyffe was real, many sensational claims attributed to Tesla remain unproven. A practical global wireless power grid that defies the laws of energy dissipation is still science fiction. Then there are the legends of never-replicated devices, the earthquake machine and the death ray. In reality, the former was a small mechanical oscillator for studying resonance, and the latter was a theoretical weapon that was never built. These stories, which often suggest applications that violate the laws of physics, have transformed the man into a myth, obscuring the line between his genuine genius and the fantastic tales that surround his name. Why does this matter today? The Tesla myth speaks to a broader cultural anxiety about innovation. Who controls game-changing technology, and who decides what the public is allowed to use? The Wardenclyffe story also raises questions about funding, intellectual property, and how credit is recorded in science history. Some inventions fail not because they are impossible, but because they lack financial or institutional backing at the right moment. In the modern era, a different kind of lost Tesla narrative has emerged, one that has taken on a life of its own in the digital age. This story isn't about forgotten patents, it's about deliberate suppression. The central claim is that his most revolutionary experiments were confiscated by governments, classified, and secretly repurposed. The theories are as grand as Tesla's own ambitions, whispering of a death ray capable of vaporizing armies, or a worldwide system for free wireless energy that would have upended the global economy. These ideas, born from Tesla's own late-life pronouncements, have become the foundational texts for a new mythology where he is a martyred prophet of a future stolen from us. And like many compelling myths, this one is wrapped around a kernel of truth. When Tesla died in his hotel room in January 1943, the world was at war. Concerned his papers might contain information valuable to enemy powers, the FBI was alerted. The Office of Alien Property Custodian promptly seized all of his known effects, nearly 2 truckloads of material. A committee of technical experts was brought in to assess the trove, including respected MIT physicist Dr. John G. Trump. After a thorough review, Trump and his colleagues concluded that Tesla's work in his final years was primarily of a speculative, philosophical, and promotional character. They found no working prototypes, no concrete blueprints for a death ray, and no schematics for a functional free energy device. Most of Tesla's seized belongings were eventually released to his nephew, and are now housed in the Nikola Tesla Museum in Belgrade, available for scholarly research. So while records confirm a seizure, they don't support the conclusion that a hidden functional machine was suppressed. The official story is one of wartime due diligence, not a grand conspiracy to hide a technological revolution. But for many, that official story is precisely the problem. The absence of world-changing technology in the released papers is seen not as proof it never existed, but as proof that the most important items were held back. This fuels the enduring speculation, the belief in a hidden archive, and questions about rumored missing trunks or safes that were allegedly opened in secret. This tantalizing possibility sends a new generation of researchers, historians, enthusiasts, and internet sleuths alike back to old archives, libraries, and forgotten boxes. They hunt for clues, driven by the conviction that they are one discovery away from rewriting history. The lost Tesla is no longer just a man. He is a symbol of suppressed genius, a powerful modern myth reflecting our deepest hopes for a better world and our deepest suspicions about the powers that control it. Today, engineers and physicists revisit early 20th century experiments, not to chase myths, but to harvest neglected ideas. Resonance, wireless coupling, and distributed power principles all have legitimate, contemporary research pathways. Where Tesla was a visionary, modern scientists are methodical, testing, reproducing, and publishing. That scientific rigor separates hype from progress. So, after journeying through the life, the science, and the secrets of Nikola Tesla, what can we truly conclude? First, and most importantly, his genius is undeniable. The world we live in today runs on his vision. The alternating current that powers our homes, the fundamental principles behind radio and wireless communication, the very spark of countless modern technologies, these are not myths. They are the tangible, world-changing legacy of a brilliant mind. His name deserves every ounce of the respect it has earned. However, this is where the man ends and the myth begins. The narrative of Tesla has become entangled with sensational tales of lost super technology, earthquake machines that could split the planet, death rays capable of vaporizing armies, and the ultimate prize, a system for limitless free energy. We must approach these legends with a healthy scientific skepticism. This skepticism isn't an insult to Tesla, it's a defense of his true accomplishments. The myths, fueled by his theatrical pronouncements, his eccentricities, and the government's seizure of his papers, risk overshadowing the real engineer. They transform a complex historical figure into a simple icon for conspiracy, a patron saint of suppressed knowledge. To truly honor Tesla, we must learn to separate the proven science from the speculative fiction. This doesn't mean we should stop digging. In fact, investigating the gaps in the historical record is more valuable than ever. But the goal of this research isn't to find a single magical blueprint. The real treasure lies in the details. Archival work is painstaking detective work. Historians and engineers sift through thousands of pages of correspondence, business records, and personal letters held in archives like the Nikola Tesla Museum in Belgrade. They are piecing together the puzzle of his process. They might uncover overlooked patents for small but crucial components, or find experimental notes that reveal a dead end he pursued, which is just as instructive as a success. These incremental innovations, a slight change in a coil's winding, a note scribbled in a margin about an unexpected electrical arc, a letter to a colleague debating a fine point of theory, are the real gold. They don't offer a superweapon, but they offer something far more precious. A glimpse into the workings of a creative mind at the edge of possibility, showing us how breakthroughs are truly forged, step by painstaking step. Ultimately, Nikola Tesla's story is a powerful and often cautionary lesson in the complex reality of invention. It teaches us that while brilliance and a vivid imagination are the essential spark, they are not enough on their own. Consider the role of funding. Tesla's initial success with George Westinghouse brought AC power to the world. But his later relationship with financier J.P. Morgan tells a different story. When Morgan pulled funding from the ambitious Wardenclyffe Tower project, Tesla's dream of a global wireless system died with it. The skeletal tower stood for years as a monument to a brilliant idea starved of the resources it needed to become reality. It's a stark reminder that even the greatest ideas can fail without practical support. Then there is the principle of reproducibility, the bedrock of the scientific method. Tesla was famously secretive, often performing experiments alone and claiming to hold entire designs perfectly in his mind. While this speaks to his unique cognitive abilities, it also meant that many of his more extraordinary claims couldn't be independently verified or tested by his peers. Without reproducibility, an observation remains an anecdote, not scientific fact. Finally, there's the matter of transparent record-keeping. His notes were often scattered and cryptic, a stark contrast to the meticulous, factory-like documentation of his rival Thomas Edison. This isn't a moral failing, but it has practical consequences. It makes it incredibly difficult for historians to reconstruct his work and definitively validate his later claims, leaving a vacuum that myths and speculation have eagerly filled. This brings us to the heart of the Lost Papers saga. They may never reveal a literal miracle weapon or a free energy device. Their true legacy is as a cultural touchstone, a powerful symbol that forces us to confront the tension between rigorous science and sensational claims. Rigorous science is a slow, collaborative, and often frustrating process. It's built on evidence, peer review, and hypotheses that can be tested and retested. Sensationalism, on the other hand, is fast, exciting, and emotionally resonant. It whispers of hidden truths and powerful secrets being kept from the public. The idea of a suppressed death ray is simply a more compelling story than the complex reality of directed energy weapon research. The Lost Papers myth reminds us to look critically at history and to champion the methodical process of science. The real danger isn't that the government is hiding a Tesla device in a vault, it's that our fascination with such stories can devalue the real, incremental, and collaborative work that actually drives human progress forward. It encourages us to wait for a lone genius to save us, rather than participating in the messy, collective effort of discovery. So we are left with a choice, not just about Tesla, but about how we see the world of innovation. It's a choice between the shadow and the substance. On one hand, the allure of the secret, the suppressed patent, the conspiracy that hints at a hidden, easier world. On the other, the tangible reality of a working prototype, something real, demonstrable, and built through skill, effort, and a deep understanding of the laws of physics. Which is more compelling to you? Would you rather discover a suppressed patent or see a working prototype? Let us know in the comments. Our journey into the mysteries of technology is far from over. Subscribe for more deep dives where history, science, and myth collide.